Here's someone I've yet to do, folks. This is Pimp C. He's a member of Underground Kings, and he's been gone for almost 8 years. So, really, he was in prison. About less than 2 years later, he died. And so, it just happened that when it happened, it was kind of like, what is going on? Just because, these guys were really starting to make names for themselves, but it's just all around unfortunate. But we did get a couple albums by Pimp C afterward, and one of them is The Naked Soul of Sweet Jones. So obviously, this was made. I don't think he was really working with these people back in 2007, but it was put together and it's actually orchestrated pretty well, which I'm proud of. When I do these albums that are after someone has died, the main thing is it doesn't have their creative input sometimes. When it's like 4 or 3 years afterward, it doesn't always translate perfectly, but somehow they usually pull it off. I'm actually proud. If Pimp C picked these instrumentals, I am actually thinking that this would have done an excellent job if it just would have been him and not so many guests. But not the whole album isn't spectacular, and I would have liked to seen a couple more kind of, because it didn't feel like Pimp C was a club rapper as much as he was out an outgoing rapper, which there is a difference between those two. And so it just felt like you've got something, you've got Cadillac, music knocking, some food, some women, whatever else you have, and you're set to go. And that, for that style of music, considering he was from Texas, it dwarfs a lot of other styles. So we'll talk about the weaknesses as it continues. Can you smoke to this? The answer is yes, you can. You can smoke to Since the 90s, Dickies, Colors, Massacre, Hit the Parking Lot. Those are some great ones. The production, now this is where it kind of starts to get different, because sometimes it's not always about balling, and when that doesn't happen, the music isn't quite as interesting. And you'll notice, like, I was really expecting the song Midnight to be a little bit slicker, but that one didn't turn out that well. Go to War, that one, just by the title, that it's a different type of song, but that one didn't work. And Fly Lady and What Up were some other ones that kind of felt kind of abysmal. But the good songs, you're going to wonder, like, why is it that we didn't add 4 or 5 more of these? That's the thing, it's good, but it doesn't quite raise the bar. So, but that leads us to the unheard songs. So I like 6 out of 13 songs, which it kind of is like more of a bruise album, kind of like a Quiet Storm type. You're gonna wake up to this later, more so than just an instant success. So the 6 songs are Since the 90s, Dickies, Made For, Hit the Parking Lot, Colors, and Massacre. Now, all of these just sound like something you would have heard out of Texas rap back in 2006 or so, and it has a lot of, like, it's just really hard to, the background beats are really good. It's just got like that bassish type sound, and it's really got some trunk rattlers. And when it doesn't rattle the trunk, it loses a lot of flair. So that's one thing. But there are guests on almost every song, and a lot of these highlight the style of Pimp C in a lot of ways. Plus, Bun B is on here a number of times. So, he is on Dickies, and that's a hot one. So, that's something to look forward to. But I recommend this release despite that I like less than half of it. 6 out of 13 is basically about half, so I'm going to give it a 5 out of 10. And the reason why is because it needed more of the... I mean, Pimp C knows that he can make things hype, but for some reason, all these records didn't do it. So I don't know why it is, but some of the records are more fun than others. That's the biggest weakness to this album, and you'll notice I don't want people thinking, oh, well, the first 3 or 4 songs are not good, so this album tanked. That's absolutely not the truth. So, yeah, so the future, I mean, there isn't one, but Pimp C did have another After Death album, and the social score, I will give it a 6 social because there's a lot of guests on here. You're bound to find someone, if you listen to rap, that you know. Drake, Chamillionaire, Young Jeezy, Too Short, Rick Ross, they're all on here. There's got to be someone that you'll probably like on here, and it just feels kind of like the year 2007 in a lot of ways, and that's really a slick time, but it pushes it forward a few years. So if you're used to the way you lived 8 years ago, this is a perfect album to ride to again. That's something to remember. It's not about changing with the times and it being, if you want to live like you're 23 again, you can still do that. So, alright, subscribe for more fun. I do think it can be topped. I give this album a 5 and a 6 social.